Oh, hey, welcome to lesson 2.2. My cat's not my best friend. That would be sad. So today we're going to be doing a review on how to write the equations of lines and graph lines. It's going to be a ton of fun, so jump on the graphing train because it's about to take off. So you might remember from last class, we discussed that slope is just the rise of a line, over the run of a line. Okay? Now to write the equation, all you need is the slope, which we know how to find, plus the y-intercept. And remember, the y-intercept is just where the line intersects with the y-axis, and that would be at this point right here. That is our y-intercept, right? And that's at point 0, 5. It intercepts at 5. That is our y-intercept. Okay? So to write the equation, all you have to do is find the slope, plug that in for m, and find the y-intercept and plug that in for b, and you plug it into your slope-intercept form. All right, so let's give that some practice, okay? So for example, in this problem, we're going to find the slope by finding any 2 points. Let's see, we got a point here, and we have a point here. We'll count it out. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So the slope here is going to be 6 over 4. All right, so our m is equal to 6 over 4. All right, and our b, well, it's just that y, where it intersects the y-axis, which is at 5. Okay, you know what? Let's put that in red. And that's our equation. Now remember, you always have to simplify your fractions. So to finish this off, we're going to say y equals 3 over 2x plus 5. All right, we got our slope, we got our y-intercept, and that's the equation. Straightforward. So remember, 2 things you got to find. So for these 2 lines, once again, just write the equations. We're going to write the equation of these 2 lines. The way you do it, find the slope first. Let's find any 2 points. It doesn't matter which 2. This is a good point to use, and let's see, this looks like a good point to use. So let's count it out. We go up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 2. That's 7. Okay. So our slope is 2 over 7, and our y-intercept, well, let's count this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is at 0, 5, yet again, so our b is just the 5. Okay? Beautiful. We just plug it in. M is 2/7, y equals 2/7 x plus 5. All right? Now, can 2/7 be reduced? That's a question you should ask yourself. No. So you're done. Now I'm just going to rewrite it without the parentheses. We don't usually keep those there. So it's 2/7 x plus 5. And that would be the equation of the line pictured. Let's try one more time. We got this guy right here, right? So let's find any 2 points. You find good ones. This looks like a good point right here. And let's see, this looks like a good point right here, right? Let's give it a count. It goes down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 2. So that's 4 and that's 2. The slope is going to be negative 4 because it goes down over 2. Look at that slope. Don't forget the negative if it goes down. And our b, let's see, that's at 0, negative 4. So this is our b. Our b is just negative 4. Plug it into our equation. Y equals negative 4 over 2x plus 4. And we're just going to simplify. Negative 4 over 2, that simplifies to negative 2x, and 4 is like that. Boom, looking good, guys. That's how you write the equations of your lines. Now we're going to go a little backwards. Now we know we're going to graph the line if we know the equation. How do we graph it, right? So we were looking at the graph, we were writing the equation, now we're doing backwards, okay? So we're going to graph this line right here, y equals 1/3 x plus 4. Okay, so the way you do it is you start with the y-intercept. Okay, we're going to start by graphing this point. This is our starting point. So let's go to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, using the slope, we just go rise over run. So this goes up 1 over 3. So 1 up 1 over 1, 2, 3. Rise over run. That's our slope. Let's do it again. Up 1 over 1, 2, 3. And hey, you can even go backwards. So you go down 1 and over 1, 2, 3. And you go backwards. And then you just draw a nice line going through it. Okay, let's draw this line. Boom. Beautiful. And of course, this has the perfect slope, up 1 over 3, and the y-intercept of 4. Done. Okay? Now, we got one more we're going to graph. We're going to graph this line. But there's a problem. You might remember this from the last class. This isn't in slope-intercept form. We don't know the slope, but we don't know the y-intercept because we have to solve for y. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to circle our y, draw a line down the middle, and we're going to solve for y here. First thing to do, we want to get this y by itself, right? So let's get this x on the other side. We're going to subtract 8x. Okay? That gives us negative 6y is equal to negative 24 minus 8x. You might remember it's good to switch things around, so it's negative 6y equals negative 8x minus 24, right, because that's a negative. And then we're going to divide everything by negative 6. Negative 6, negative 6, negative 6. When we divide that, we get y equals negative 8 divided by negative 6. That reduces to 4/3 x. It's positive because those are both negatives. Now, we keep track of your negatives is super important here. And negative 24 divided by negative 6 is positive 4. So now that we got this in y equals form, we can graph it. You cannot graph it if it is not in slope-intercept form. It's too difficult to put into slope-intercept form. So let's give it a shot. Our y-intercept's at 4. That's our starting point, right? And we just count up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 3. 1, what is that doing? 1, 2, 3. All right, we'll go the other direction. Down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3. And that is how you graph a line. Beautiful. Now, hopefully you can draw a better line than that. I'm just winging it. So remember, if you want to graph a line, you have to put it into y equals form first. You cannot have it in this form. All right, for the final part of this lesson, we're just going to be writing the equation of lines given only 2 points. No graph, just the points of a line. How are we going to do it? Well, let me show you. We're going to find the equation of AB, where A equals 2/3 and B equals 4/6. Okay? The first thing we should probably do is just draw them out so we get a good picture here. So we get 2, 3, that's our A, and we got B at 4, 6, right here. Okay? And that is our line. Now, just like we did before, all right, there's 2 things we need. We need the slope and we need the y-intercept, okay? Now we're going to do that by first, well, how do we find the slope? There's 2 ways. You could just count it, but that's like the sissy way. I'm going to use the formula. So it's y2 minus y1, which is 6 minus 3, over x2 minus x1, which is 4 minus 2. And that gives me 3 over 2. That is my fantastic slope. Now step 2 here is we're going to plug in the slope and a coordinate into y equals mx plus b and solve for b. What do I mean by that? Well, to find out what b is, this is what we can do. We can go y equals 3/2 x plus b. Now if we want to solve for b, what we could actually do is put in a coordinate for x and y. And what I mean is you pick either one of these 2 coordinates, A or B, and you're going to plug it in for x and y. So let's do A, which is 2, 3. So our y coordinate is 3 equals 3/2 times 2 plus b. And now that I've filled in all this information, I can solve for b and find out what our y-intercept is. So just solve this equation for b now. That's the next step. So 3 is equal to 6 over 2. You might remember if you multiply fractions, you could drop a 1 over there. So it's 3 times 2, 2 times 1. So you get 6 over 2 plus b. That is the same thing as 3 is equal to 3 plus b. And then 3 minus 3. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides. Well, that cancels out. And guess what? 3 minus 3 is 0. So our b is equal to 0. Now that we have our y-intercept and we have our beautiful slope, we can just plug that in and get our equation like we did before. right? So you have your slope, you have your y-intercept, and you just do y equals your slope, 3 over 2x plus 0. That is our b, right? And that's it. Just going to need your slope and your y-intercept. Now, just a little note here. We never say plus 0 in math, so you could actually simplify this to y equals 3 halves x without the 0. But that only works if you have a 0. So that is it. And I know what you're saying. Well, couldn't I have just kept doing the slope down 3 over 2 and got the y-intercept? Yeah, but what if you don't have a graph? And what fun is that? All right, guys, remember, don't scratch a deer's back. It'll kick you in the face.